Hey everyone, during this video I'm going to do a personal review of Examine.com's most popular supplements. I'm looking at their site. These are their most popular supplements. I will go through them and rate them from 1 to 10 and give a little bit of an explanation as to why. Firstly would be beta-alanine. I would rate it 8 out of 10. Its most common use is pre-workout, so many pre-workout products will have it listed as one of the ingredients. And what it's going to do, it's going to improve performance as far as increase your anaerobic capacity, so better cardio, better power output, and as well it should just eliminate fatigue to some extent. The problem with beta-alanine is most people don't realize you actually have to take it twice per day to get the most effects, and therefore in pre-workout products they're usually going to underdose it. Most of them have only 1 to 2 grams, whereas the ideal dose is something like I think it's carnosine beta-alanine was 6.2 grams over the course of a day across 2 to 3 servings. So you'll notice that your pre-workout is rich in beta-alanine if you feel like the firefly effect. So if you feel like the itches, maybe your face will turn a little bit red, then that's a good sign. I like the stuff. As far as cognitively speaking, there is some evidence that it can help with as an antioxidant. It can help you with your memory, short term and long term, and as well with just better energy levels. So I like it a lot. That's 8 out of 10. Branched chain amino acids, I rate them 6 out of 10, and they do have their purpose, but they're just not for everybody. What branched chain amino acids are good for is if you work out fasted. If you are somebody that just gets to the gym, you're going to benefit by having 5 grams of BCAAs prior to your workout and post-workout. It'll help you with fatigue. It'll help you just eliminate soreness and improve recovery. The critique I have to BCAAs is most people don't need them. If you don't work out fasted, you will get enough BCAAs in your diet. Even if you're somebody that eats like as little as 20 grams of protein per meal, which is not a lot. It's like essentially half a handful of meat. You'll get enough BCAAs. The people who aren't getting enough BCAAs may be people who are vegetarians. If you're eating a lot of beans, most forms of beans don't have a full amino acid profile. So, but branched chain amino acids do have their purpose that way. There is some evidence showing that taking branched chain amino acids between your meals can actually increase your muscle protein synthesis, which will naturally mean the meal would result in more muscle building versus if you didn't have your branched chain amino acids prior. But again, there's this is just pretty much new research. Creatine, I would rate it 8 out of 10. It is fantastic. It's going to help you retain more muscle in retain more water in your muscles. It's going to help you with power output. Going to help you fight fatigue. I do feel it's somewhat overrated in terms of cognitively speaking. A lot of people say it's a nootropic. There are some studies showing that it helps you if you're in a sleep deprived state. It's not been my experience that it's a very powerful nootropic, but for other people it is. So who knows? D-aspartic acid. Wow, I'd rate it 5 out of 10 because I feel it's just it's overhyped. It's not as strong as it's supposed to be. D-aspartic acid, what it's used for is supposedly to increase your testosterone levels. It's one of those very popular natural testosterone boosters. You can buy it in like a powdered form. Take something like 3 to 5 grams per day, particularly, or recommended actually fasted. However, if you look deeper into it, there is some evidence showing that taking too much D-aspartic acid can actually result in decline of testosterone levels. So be careful. Some people notice a benefit, but most people don't. 3 to 5 grams taken first thing in the morning. But again, hasn't been my experience that I benefited too much from it. Fish oil, rated 10 out of 10. What can I say? It's unfortunately not a product that you're going to notice immediate benefits from, but there's enough research showing that there's benefits, especially for people with mood disorders like bipolar. There's a lot of evidence that it can help that way, just to stabilize your mood a bit. It'll help you with your cardiovascular. For me, it helps a lot with my joint health, and as well just prevent diseases. Just be a bit skeptical of where you're purchasing your fish oil. There's some brands which unfortunately have fish oil that isn't necessarily healthy. They're extracted from, you could say, bad fishes, like fishes in polluted bodies of water. I did an experiment once and I took like 20 to 30 grams of fish oil per day for maybe a couple of weeks, and I didn't notice much of a benefit, although the benefit that I felt was my cardio was significantly better. Like if I went for a run and I was playing a lot of soccer back then, it was just a lot easier, and I would definitely attribute that to the fish oil. Green tea slash Ichi EGCG. I'd rate it I'd rate it maybe 8 out of 10 just because it has a very it has a unique purpose. There's a lot of benefits. I'm looking at a list. It's cardioprotective, neuroprotective, helps with anti-obesity, anti-carcinogenic, anti-diabetic, and the list goes on. Its common uses for antioxidant. It's supposed to be very, very strong when it comes to anti-aging as well as fat loss. Not necessarily fat loss in itself, but it will help you to blunt your appetite, and that's the thing which I really use it for well. Like this is every single day, but pretty much without exception. After my last meal of the day, I'll just sip some green tea. It's not that it tastes that great, but helps me blunt my appetite. Maybe it's a little bit relaxing, and it's nice. Looking forward to having a hot drink. L-carnitine and Alcar. I'd rate it a 3 out of 10 just because it doesn't really work too well for me. A lot of people report that it boosts their energy levels. They actually feel some sort of like cognitive magic, especially when they pair it with alpha lipoic acid. I'm just going by my experience. It hasn't been that powerful. I've tested it. It's supposedly more useful. A lot of people report if you're fasted. Again, it hasn't been my experience. And again and again, I just purchase it in hopes that maybe it's going to work, but it doesn't. So yeah. Vitamin D, rated 9 out of 10. Good stuff. Although I have noticed that the form actually matters. I benefited most from like the little droppers. I'm in Canada. We have to have vitamin D. Otherwise, we're pretty much screwed. I think the research shows like 60% of Canadians are suffering from lack of vitamin D. But beyond that, just from making sure you're taking your dose, it does a lot for fat loss and just mood improvement. So I'd recommend that you take it. In my opinion, there's nothing wrong with overdosing. And yeah, whey protein. I rate it a 7 out of 10. Not that everybody needs it, but if you're somebody that exercises, a lot of the research shows that whey protein prior to your workout, intra-workout, and a little bit post-workout is going to benefit you. Beyond that, it's one of the most surprising things people don't realize about whey protein is it really satiates you and makes you less likely to binge eat. If you don't believe me, try taking like 20 to 30 grams of whey protein at the beginning of the day or maybe post-workout. I noticed like your desire for unhealthy foods is just gone. And beyond that, it's important to note like if you read the protein book by Lyle McDonald, the research actually shows that post-workout, casein may be a better form because casein, just essentially the amino acids, plasma, they are longer for, they're elevated for a longer period of time. Or I think he said combining whey protein with casein. But in any case, I like it a lot. There are times when I've gone without it, but when I've reintroduced it back, like I just reintroduced it back a month ago, and I've noticed like I have a better relationship with food, less hungry, and I see the results as far as like building muscle. I take some whey protein isolate, pretty much intra-workout or towards the end of my workout. Yohimbine, I like it a lot. I rate that 9 out of 10, just because use this responsibly. It's a very, very, very strong stimulant. It'll cause alertness. It'll cause euphoria to some extent. If you have a little bit of bipolar, it can shoot you straight into like a manic episode. But what it really serves a good purpose for is causing like a very interesting euphoria that you feel really like overconfident with your abilities, that you'll be more social than typically. You'll be more courageous to execute on things which you've just maybe had the idea to but never executed on. And socially, just energizes you kind of like phenylparacetam. So I like it, but it does cause a little bit of anxiety. So for me, one of the most common occurrences is like I start picking my nails or biting my nails or just fidgeting or feeling a little bit like that nervous energy. ZMA, I will rate ZMA 6 out of 10 just because it does help you deepen your sleep a little bit. It's been my experience that taking ZMA prior to sleeping, which is when you're supposedly supposed to take it, allows me to have a deeper sleep. I sleep like a baby. But beyond that, a good sign of having deep sleep is having dreams, which I do have some dreams, but overall, waking up feeling more refreshed. Although it's not that effective. I'm saying this, but it has that effect maybe 6 out of 10 times you use it. As far as its effects on building muscle, I have noticed nothing. People report and studies report that ZMA can improve your testosterone levels. It's not been my experience. if you're looking for a good testosterone booster naturally, from my experience, Tribulus is the best over fenugreek diaspartic acid, ZMA. But if you're somebody that maybe isn't getting like isn't maybe having like a well-rounded diet, you're not having your vegetables, your meats, some of your carbohydrate, maybe you're missing your vitamin B intake, then ZMA could be a product that you could find useful. But just notice, as you talk to people, you won't find anybody that swears on ZMA and says, I have to have it in my stack, which tells you something. So hope that's helpful, guys. Again, a lot of these supplements people probably don't take, some of you do take, but I'm just looking at examine.com as they've had it listed as their most popular supplements, although I realize this site is mostly catered to people, or it will be catered to a lot of people who are into fitness, losing fat, building muscle, all that good stuff. So hope that's helpful, guys. I'll link some other products which I may find useful in the description box below. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers, so I'm excited about that. I can put out great content for you guys, and I'll look forward to seeing you all next time.